I'm Daniel Wong from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. What do I like about this voyage? It's definitely a very unique voyage because it sails around the southern hemisphere. So there are a lot of very exotic countries and countries that are very hard to access to. So that's why I guess a lot of people join this voyage because of that. But it's also quite a difficult journey through the many oceans, many days of sailing to get to where we want to go. But the places are definitely worth getting to. Each one of them are really enjoyable simply because we've never been here, so the novelty factor is definitely there, right? Then if you're talking about what else do I enjoy other than that, I mean, on Peace Boat itself, there are many things to be enjoyed. If I look at the many activities, that the boat have organized for us in terms of, in a way, sharing of information or even educating us about, what's happening around the world, all the various cultures and how the countries have developed over time, and even sadly some countries how they have not developed over time, and even regressed over time, right? So it's interesting to see, how different countries have progressed in their respective manner, and certainly politics has a lot to do with it.
And you
Um,
are the presenter yourself.
oh, the other interesting thing about the Peace Boat, of course, is the self-organized activities. Certainly, that sets it apart from any of the other cruises, right, that are out there. And it depends so very much on who comes on board with you, because the passengers, they have a wealth of knowledge. A lot of them are like 60s, 70s onwards. And the fact that they're traveling just means they're still of sprightly, sound and mind and body, and they have a wealth of experience to share about. So some of them they are quite extroverted and they like to share it, and they like to share it in an activity where they can share it to a big group. Some are quite introverted, so they tend to keep it to themselves. But in private conversation, you find that a lot of these people have got so many interesting stories to tell about life, about families, about their travels, and even about their views, right? I'm in my early 60s, but even talking to people who are older than me, some even younger than me, they certainly have very interesting points of views. And I think as an individual, I find that I've grown to see more opinions and more viewpoints about different things, and helps me to be like a broader, more open person, and to just appreciate each and every individual more, because there is definitely a life, a story behind each one of them. So I think for all these various reasons, being on Peace Boat has been a very satisfying, mind-opening, and a very fulfilling experience. Thank you.
And what do you dislike?
What do I dislike about Peace Boat? I certainly think things like the long traveling journey in itself can be quite taxing. Uh, so if you don't participate in a lot of the activities, it can be quite torturous because, like, how do you, pass the time? So you do need to come off your shell to mix around, to attend activities, and so on. Even for myself, sometimes I like time to myself, and certainly you can do that. But there are enough interesting activities to get you engaged throughout the journey. You're talking about what else I don't like. The food is actually not bad. It's just that when it gets repetitive, day in, day out, then it's like, oh, the same stuff again, I mean, that could be true even at home. Yeah, but this journey, I would say, being a Japanese boat, I think the food tends to be more Asian centric. but there's enough, things like Italian and other type of foods that are on board to create some variety. If you're talking about to improve it, I would certainly like to see, more of a Chinese type chef, coming on board to give something more of a familiar taste, because after a month or so, you'll be craving for something familiar, right? And there are enough international passengers from Singapore, China, Malaysia, Taiwan, right? Hong Kong, to warrant or justify having someone like that on board. So I hope that maybe Peace Boat can take that into consideration for future. Um, Things that I don't like. I wouldn't say I don't like, but it's just that being a Japanese boat, a lot of things may be more Japanese centric. So in terms of the some of the activities which are very interesting, but they only hold it in Japanese language, so we couldn't participate in those. Um, then of course there's people. There are some people that you get along well with, some people that you are neutral with, and there are some people who just get on your nerves. And of course, for a lot of us, we have different tolerance limits, I guess. So if you meet certain people that you just don't have a chemistry, or somehow they, you just don't like, you probably could get away with it for a few days, but a few months together, might be a bit long. But generally, I think it's not an issue. It really depends on your personality and how well you yourself get along with others, right? I guess. And what else do I not like? I guess the trips that are organized by Peace Boats, by Peace Boat or Japan Grace in particular, leaves a lot to be desired. Um, I think the organization and the way they go about doing it could certainly be improved. For me personally, I was not affected so much by it. Out of the many ports of calls, I've only taken 2 trips with them, right? But many people who have gone on the Peace Boat trips, they certainly have a lot of comments or even complaints, about the trip and the charges, the food quality, the program itself, and the value that you get. Certainly doesn't commensurate with the charges, that they provide to you. So I guess to maximize and optimize your enjoyment of the trip, planning would be very important. So if you're able to plan trips for yourself and a small group of you all to travel together, I think that would probably be one of the best ways to travel when you are going with Peace Boat. Are done? All right, thanks.